Hello and welcome to the Alaria TCG channel where adventure awaits and magic is real. Today we're going to be doing a gameplay video where we have two players playing Alaria TCG for the very first time. So give you a little bit of a backstory. The way they played it, basically it was broken up into 3 battles. The video segment we are going to watch is the 3rd battle, and this is where they finally got those, where one of the players finally got up to their 50 power points they needed to be able to win the match. So if you have any questions, let us know in the comments below. Again, do keep in mind that these people are playing Alaria TCG for their very first time. So this will kind of give you a little overview, and we did ask them to go a little bit slower so we'd be able to record this and kind of explain what was going on, just so you get an idea of how the gameplay goes. It was a lot of fun, really excited about it, but without further ado, let's get into the gameplay video. Alright, so they're at the pre-battle phase before their 3rd battle. Sorry about the glare on the table, you guys. I was trying to get some at a different angle, so that way you guys wouldn't be able to see that glare. So I tried getting it. Sorry about that. But right now they are placing their summons down. If you remember, if you have not seen the how to play videos, we recommend seeing that before watching this one. This way you can kind of understand a little bit about what's going on. But right now they start off with 10 cards in their hand, and they have to be able to place 5 summons on face down on the field in hidden position. So that's what they're doing right now. They're deciding what they're wanting to do. This is their 3rd battle, so there are some cards on the field. We just fast forwarded just a little bit because they were taking a while because they were trying to decide what they wanted to do. So I wanted to spare that with you, spare you from having to watch that. So right now they are revealing their cards as they're taking their turns. And as you can see, that Frost Giant was taken and is in their reserve zone. Now they can use that cost, the Frost Giant's power, use its power as a cost to be able to pay for other cards that it has, to be able to pay the activation cost. So on each turn, if you do remember, you do have to reveal at least 1 card every single turn. So that's what they're doing. They're trying to decide at this point how they want to play their actions, because you can only play up to 3 actions per turn. So let's see. I think at this point he's deciding on whether or not he wants to activate that Sabermouth card. And let's see what they're doing. I think he's looking to see what the power for that Vixian Air Elemental is. And they're trying to decide what they're going to do. Oh, so he decided to take one of his actions to reveal one of his opponent's cards that were hidden. Revealed that it was a Thumproot. And as you can see, the layout, the middle cards, they're just little placeholders, so that way you can keep track of what cards in what position, especially as you start destroying cards. That way you don't get them mixed up, because range is important depending on the location of where you place your cards. So alright, so it looks like he did attack with the Sabermouth, and then once you attack, it does become deactivated. But I think at this time he's trying to decide whether or not he does want to do that. Okay, yep, looks like he does. And he now has that summons that he killed in his reserve pile to be able to use to pay the cost of one of his other cards as he goes out. Alright, so this turn, this player reveals the Holy Sphinx. It's a cost of 13. And he's going to, looks like he has just enough. Now with this one, because you have 3 actions, he could play it a few different ways. He could first destroy a summons to get another card in his reserve zone, and then be able to pay the cost there, or he could pay it with what he has. But what he did right now, if you notice that face down card, he did use it as a PowerPoint token. And remember, PowerPoint token, you can place a card from your hand face down in your reserve zone to count as 1 PowerPoint that you can use to pay the cost. So that's what he did there. He put it face down, and then he used the cards along with the PowerPoint token to be able to pay the cost to activate his Holy Sphinx. And as mentioned before in how to play videos, once you pay the cost of a card to activate it, if it was a PowerPoint token, it goes into your cooldown pile, or in other words, your discard pile. So what he's doing for another action, he's using the Holy Sphinx. He just attacked and destroyed the Sabermouth, and again, once he attacks, the Holy Sphinx is now in deactivated position for the rest of the battle, and that finished up his turn. Now it is important to note what counts as an action. Anytime you reveal a card, or you reveal an opponent's card with one of your summons, or attack or cast a spell, those cost actions. But simply paying the cost of a card is not an action. So if a card, so like for example that Holy Sphinx you see right there, if an opponent revealed it and he didn't pay the cost for that Holy Sphinx, it would be face up but in deactivated position. Later on in the round or in the battle, if that player wanted to activate his Holy Sphinx, he could pay the cost, but that does not count as an action because he didn't reveal or cast a spell or use a card. He's just simply paying a cost. That does not count. So I know some people may have had a few questions about that when they're playing, but we just want to make sure that you understand that just paying the cost does not count as an action. So we did this gameplay a little bit ago, so bear with me, you guys. Thanks so much for the unorthodox upload time. Trying to remember exactly what they did. I have a fairly good idea of exactly what they're doing, but it's been a few days since I was able to upload this video here. So let's see what he's doing now. Okay, he's got his Electrosion down. And I think at this point he's deciding whether or not he wants to, which one he wants to activate, or if he wants to reveal both cards to count as one of his actions. As you can see, this player here on your left side looks like he only has two summons that are active. And one of the really important things is really understanding range, because again, you can have good cards, but even if you place them down on the field, if you place them in a bad position, they won't necessarily allow you to be able to use them to their maximum potential if they're placed wrong. Because again, anytime you go out different ranges from the slot right adjacent to you, the power point drops by 2. Unless you have, for example, that Thumproot right there. That has a power of 2, but it has a range of 2. 2R2, which means it keeps its power within 2 range. So that one's a really good card to be able to reveal and be able to touch other summons and see where they're at. So I think at this point that your player on the left is actually beating him by points. So he's trying to play his actions really carefully so that way he can try to win. And he looks like for his action he just revealed a Merc Scout. And I think he's trying to figure out if he wants to trade card for card, the Merc Scout for the Baby Fire Drake. And just a heads up, you guys, I do hope that this video is good quality, that it's not blurry for you. The camera that I was using was not the very best, but hopefully if you have any problems with it, let me know. That way in the future I can definitely change it and kind of correct course with one of our next gameplay videos. But yep, it looks like he did trade it out, so he kind of traded blow for blow, but I think he needed that. He was deciding he wanted to do that so he can then pay the cost of one of his other summons. But at this point he's not exactly sure if he wants to activate that Electrosion Bird that gives him 6 power but gives him a range of 3, or if he wants to be able to pay the cost, I believe, of that hidden card that does have a cost associated with it. I believe that one may be the Skurad creature. Let's see, so they're still trying to decide right now how he wants to play this. As you can see, again, for one of his actions on his next turn is he does have to reveal one of the cards in play. So that's what he's got to do. That's what you've got to do at the very beginning of your turn, is you have to reveal if you're able to reveal. Oh, and as you see that that card right there is an equipment card along with the one that is on the field. It's in his player zone. Those artifacts will go in your player zone. Those will give you different bonuses and different effects. So for example, that Sword of the Bleak card that you see that he had in his hand, if I remember correctly, I believe that gives you an effect where anytime your summons attacks, it gives the attacking summons +1 in power. So fairly handy, especially as you're starting off and you have summons that have a 0 cost. You want to try to beat them out before they can get to you. But looks like he is paying the cost of to activate his Vixian Air Elemental. And he's using the sleep spell, so he's trying to determine if he wants to cast it or if he should wait for it. Nope, looks like he decides to play his artifact, the Sword of the Bleak. And he did decide to activate his Vixian Air Elemental, paying it with the cost of the Sabermouth that he just placed in his safe zone. Now if you remember, the safe zone, just a reminder, is the zone where the cards go that were already used to pay the cost of other summons or spells. So it's the same thing as your reserve zone. They both count towards your score of 50. It's just the ones in your safe zone you can't use to pay the cost because you have already used them. So now he's using the Vixian Air Elemental. He is stretching by a range of 2. As you can see, that orange card right adjacent to it is within 0 range. That's just right across from him. And any other spots extending past that, increase it by 1. So what he's doing is he's reaching 2 spots to reach that Electrosion Bird. And if he does decide to attack it, it will drop his power by 4 because it is out of range. So he's counting how many points he will lose out of range, and he's signifying he's going to lose. I guess he put 3, technically 3, because sort of the blink does give you a boost of 1, so he technically loses 4, but his power increases by 1 when he's attacking. I believe that would be just enough to defeat the Electrosion, the summons. And the game is over. They finally were able to tally and count how many points that they had, and that Electrosion bird did it. So that's all it took, you guys. That was just the third battle. As you can see, again, I did ask them to play a little bit slower just so we can be able to give a little bit of a commentary with it, so you guys can see. Again, sorry about the camera quality if it does turn out a little bit blurry. If you do have any questions, again, I don't expect you to have been able to see all the details on the cards, but this is just so you get an idea of the layout, kind of what it actually physically looks like, because I know with the how to play video we're going over the rules, but to be able to see it in a gameplay footage I feel is a little bit better. So yeah, if you guys do have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. And that's kind of what you can expect as far as gameplay. Again, this is their first time, and that was just their third battle. So it took 3 battles for one of them to win. So it's very simple. It's designed around that one game mechanic. But the biggest thing we feel is really important, especially if you want to make a trading card game that is not just I have better cards, so I'm better with you. Is basic in essence, when it comes down to a lot of games, it comes down to my card is better than your card, or my deck that I built, it jives a lot better than what yours does, and its type of combos that it's able to give off naturally is better than yours. We don't like that. We want a lot of skill and strategy to be able to be played as well. So what we decided is we also wanted to incorporate the field. Gameplay with the field. Placement is key in determining how you will actually play your cards. So as well with the using, you have to have weak cards to be able to play the big ones. They rely off each other, and the small cards have very important late game value that cards that are more powerful do not have. So I hope in the gameplay videos you guys will be able to see that, and as you guys play it yourselves, you will be able to see that as well. If you'd like to get your hands on any of the cards, check out the link in the description below. It leads straight to the Game Crafter. We did add a few more cards as well, because like I mentioned in a previous video, we are finishing up the set here. But and just a reminder, if you get 2 booster packs, it already makes a workable deck, and not one of those, oh, it can get you by, or it technically can be, you can play with it. No, it's not like that. It actually makes a viable, really good, workable deck. The way it's set up, 2 booster packs guaranteed. So if you want to play with your buddies, all you need is 4 packs. You guys decide who get what pack. Just put them together, shuffle them, and just start playing. Alright, so if you have any questions, again, throw them down in the comments below. I do try to respond to all the comments. Thank you guys so much for your comments and shares and your likes. Really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. If you have any concerns or criticism, let me know too. But thanks you guys so much for watching. Till next time.